Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here at Twin Ring Motegi for another round of this wonderful championship here in Japan. I am Austin Knight. I'm joined by Jonathan Grabowski and Dennis Branch in the production booth, and you're here live watching Apex Racing TV. Jonathan, open wheelers at Twin Ring Motegi and Formula 3.5 as well. These cars are an awesome blast to drive around here on this track. Very fond of Super Formula racing. Hasn't seen a lot of worldwide open wheel racing, but when the Formula 3.5's cars come around here, it is an absolute joy to watch these things sending around this very interesting and fun track.
Yeah, good evening, Austin. Welcome to everyone else watching on Apex Racing TV. Definitely a fun track for sure, and these 3.5 cars are really going to fly around here. It's really going to be some really impressive times and some close racing.
Yeah, close racing indeed. And Motegi, you know, the first sector of Motegi, it's very simple, and each of the sectors kind of have a different flavor to it. The first sector is, you know, pretty simple. The double right-hander hairpin. The second turn, a left-hander double apex hairpin. And then the final turn in the infield as we're looking at Mark Van Deleen heading underneath the Bridgestone Tires Bridge and part of the oval as they get onto the outside part of the track. This is going to be very important to make sure you have that car planted down heading into the S-bends and one of the tight hairpins. And then Sector 3, will be at the bottom of a hill after the longest straight on the track. Start at the very top of the hill, go all the way down, hard onto the brakes, and that's, yeah, you got to make sure your brakes are always working down there. And then it's a tight, technical final sector underneath the oval again, up the hill and into well, the front straightaway, and it's just such a blast to drive around here. It's a completely different sector each time, and you know, it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those more modern-y tracks that's a little bit of everything in it. You know, as you mentioned, it's got some fast parts, the technical parts, and you have to be going the brakes. As we're about halfway through qualifying right now with James Pinkster at the top of the charts. More times are coming in. Vasilev is in second, Burns in third, Cal Young in fourth, and James Byrne currently in the fifth spot in qualifying.
Eddie Samborski jumps up into second place, just a little 2/10 back behind James J. Pinsker. And, you know, the rivalry between Pinsker and Samborski is, they're always finishing next to each other. But James, two-time Formula 3.5 champion. And, you know, he's always staying up top. This is his favorite car on iRacing. Same with Eddie Samborski. And Eddie, he's been trying to find that extra bit of pace to top James today and outrace him. He's had some moments of glory, but it's always when it just seems to be James versus Eddie, it seems to be leaning towards James's favor. But Eddie, he's made it his mission to beat James, and I think he might do it today.
Yeah, these are definitely, I was fortunate enough to commentate on one of the races a few seasons ago, and it was a Pinsker-Samborski show. And if you look at the season standings so far in iRacing, at the top of the charts, James J. Pinsker with 894 points, and Edward A. Samborski with 737 points. And then Jason Sig, who's, I don't know if he's here today. He's a bit far back in
He's in third right now.
Is he? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just got to look. He has 670 points. So, you know, these two guys clearly are the head of a really, really great field.
Yeah, the top three in this field are definitely on another level right now. And, you know, it's always nice to see stuff like that. Samborski with a good qualifying lap, but does not get the top on James A. Pinsker, but he does close in on 0.02 of a second behind him. So, you know, they are really on pace with each other right now, and it's going to be very exciting to see on how they both get along at the start of this race, because you can really send one up the inside on both of the first parts of the first lap and get an early lead out there and punish your rival's tires by keeping them in dirty air. Mark Ponick jumps up into fifth. Jason Sieg third in the championship right now. He's on his final lap. He's just coming through that final sector right now. And then we're looking at Javier Bonamati coming through that final sector. You can see how hard he had to get onto the brakes right there for that sharp 90-degree turn to go underneath the track. And then that final chicane is very tricky. I've seen a lot of mistakes like that. You just push it a little bit too hard, get off into the grass, and that's too much mustard going into the track. Jason Sieg did come across the final line, but didn't improve on his lap time. This is Emil Winbo. He didn't set a valid first lap. Second lap puts him up into 15th. So he's going to be starting pretty happy. We got 25 cars registered for today, which is one of the largest 3.5 fields we've seen here on Apex Racing TV. Max grade is 26, but I don't think we've actually ever hit that 4.3K strength of field here today, and it's going to be an absolute wonderful race we're going to be seeing here today.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at the charts, Pinsker and Samborski, the only two in the 134s in qualifying. Then Jason Sieg led the rest of the field. Everybody's most of the field in the 135s. And really, really tight. You see a couple, 35, 61, 62, 62, 66. So this is going to be a really, really tight field, based off the qualifying results.
It really is. But I feel like there's going to be 2, maybe 3 front runners for the first few laps. But, you know, here's our full grid. James A. Pincer on pole position with Eddie Samborski. Going to be starting right beside him. Jason Sieg, Theodore Burns behind them, followed by Mark Ponick, Jamie Byrne, Pav Vashalev, Cal Young, Ben Holko, Yuki Shirakawa at their home race, Eric Wierzemaski, James R. Byrne in 12th. And behind them, it's Wanta De Fuente, Frank Benedict, Emil Windbow, Javier Bonmati, Dennis Gallus, Miguel Crespo, Ludwig Francon, Philip Hillard, I Am Keyman, Ollie Kwaka, Dennis Cornu, and Mark Van Dalen. And the final row is Raymond Pinero at the end of our 25-car grid. As you can see, all of our drivers getting their race setups all set and ready to go here. And make sure everything is all ready as they are lining up on the front row and on the front straight here at Twin Ring Motegi. And with the oval around there that is not used anymore due to, I believe, structural issues in the area, earthquakes and all that stuff might have damaged the oval. They don't use that oval anymore, but, you know, with the oval around this track, some might say, is this considered a roval? I don't believe so because I don't go on the oval
I don't
part.
think so.
But I want to classify it as the best roval because there's a oval on top of the road course.
Now we're getting technical.
Debate in the comments. As we were just waiting on James A. Pincer to make his flamboyant entrance onto the track. We got 15 seconds remaining. Here's the only car now out there on track. 10 seconds remaining.
Uh-oh.
And there's James.
There he goes.
There he is. Wait until the very last moment. Well, it's time to keep the waiting to a minimum now. It's time to rock and roll here at Twin Ring Motegi. Green, green, green. Away we go here. Sam Borski gets a okay start. James A. Pincer beats him off the line right behind him. Theodore Burns to Jason Sieg. Theodore Burns down to the inside, beats him onto the apex right there. Mark Ponick looking to get a lead onto Jason right there. Jason, he's now onto the inside of Mark Ponick. Look at the group behind him. 3 wide heading into that second hairpin right there. Pav Vasvev looking down the inside. He's lost the spot to Ben Holko. Ben Holko made an amazing start, as well as Emil Windbow. What a great start. A little bit of contact on the straightaway. That was La Fuente going for the right side of the track onto the side of James Byrne. That was Emil Windbow and James Byrne making contact right there. Windbow looking down to the inside of La Fuente. La Fuente now on the inside of the S-Bends. This is going to be a very tight turn as Emil can make that. There's contact! One of the cars getting launched up into the air. That's La Fuente and Yuki Shirakawa, the home race. And that is definitely not what you want to have your home race end on lap 1.
Oh, we got
2
more
cars turned around as well. Daniel Gallus, Crespo around as well. Chaos in the second sector at their very first clean sector. Daniel Gallus, he's got front wing damage.
Oh yeah, that's tough. You know, we got through the first sector so clean, and you know we saw some heavy racing definitely in the midfield, and you thought we'd have a clean first lap, but definitely not with those 2 incidents.
Yeah, the first lap was very good at the front of the field, but the back of the field, I was really impressed. Here's a instant replay of what happened. You see La Fuente on the inside of the track right here, heading into one of the tightest turns. And the car ahead of him just locked up, and he got punted into the air, and La Fuente, he just avoided it, but couldn't get the car slowed. Got into the wall, as this is Pinero. I think Pinero might have escaped.
Yeah, he escaped.
He escaped. He didn't qualify, I believe. He got into 25th. That's where he started. Yeah, he didn't qualify. He's up 10 spots right now, so a great first lap by Ramon Pinero.
He's got a gaggle of cars behind him as we look at Jamie Byrne currently running in the 6th spot. Ben Holko right behind him.
Great shot looking back at Ben as they go up the hill into the S's, then into a hard braking zone. This hairpin is, I wouldn't call this a hairpin. It's more than 90 degrees. So it technically is a hairpin-ish turn. It's a slow corner, but this is a true hairpin full 180 degrees and into the longest
Oh,
straightaway. And too much mustard by Ben Holko. Getting off the exit. Too much mustard down. Back end of the car goes out, goes down to the inside of the track, falls down to 10th.
That is so easy to do right
and
there.
right ahead of him, Winbow locks up the tires heading into another hard braking zone right there. I would say the hardest braking zone because heading downhill into a tight 90-degree corner. And here's the replay of Daniel Gallus into that very slow corner. As we were saying, looking down the inside, and it's the 5.
Oh.
Gets onto his inside and taps him away. The 5 of I Am Keeman being the one with the naughty flag.
Keeman was trying to take advantage there with a little deeper braking.
Trying to send a Rooney. Trying to board
looking at the 5th spot.
Behind it, Jason Sieg. Jason, we were saying 3rd in the championship. Started 3rd of the race. He's fallen down to 4th after a wonderful start by Theodore Burns. And Burns has kind of left him in the dust. Jason's fallen back just a little bit. So it's Samborski and Peace out in front. And then Burns on his own in 3rd place. Then it's a bit of a gap to Sieg and the fight for 4th place with Sieg, Ponick, Byrne, and Vashlev.
Yeah, Pinsker and Samborski are currently kind of in their own league right now, both in the 135s. Whereabouts is jumping around the 137s, that group behind them.
It's like they're doing qualifying laps right now. It's insane. Because they were doing 134s in qualifying, and everybody else is doing 135s. Now they're the only 2 drivers doing 135s, and everybody else is doing 137s.
Well, they also have clean track, fairly clean air. They're not really racing hard against worrying about guys behind them. So it gives them opportunity to kind of check out.
Too.
Yeah,
they know how
each
other drive, because when you get around other people that you aren't familiar with, you get a little bit more reserve about opening it up because you don't
apprehensive about things.
Yes, more cautious about things.
At this battle here, the James Byrne currently in the 11th spot in the 16 car, with Bamati behind him.
Yeah, we got his brother Jamie up there in 6th place, but we usually see James and Jamie with each other side by side, and that's pretty much been their staple. They've always been on equal pace, but it looks like Jamie has just upped his pace just a little bit more, got that advantage out there on James. And then they're not related to Theodore Burns, but we got the 3 Burns in here. We got Theodore Burns, Jamie Byrne, and James Byrne.
They're just burning up and down the timing tower.
And you had to do it.
I had to. It's there for the taking.
It was there, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm totally okay with the puns. I'm not like Sam, who shames you for it.
I think it's just more he's upset that he didn't come up with the pun.
Big lock
Window
up.
locks it up a little.
2nd lap in a row that he did it in the same corner too. And that right side of his the front right tire is going to be really struggling for grip. I will not be surprised if he starts steering into this first turn later on into the race, because those that right side of his car is going to be very stressed. Vivek Rancon down to the inside on the straightaway, up into 18th.
Takes pass from Cornu, and Jamie Burns off.
He's stolen a cone. There's a cone stuck underneath his car. He's got a cone stuck underneath his car. Has to get onto the brakes to dislodge that cone, and there it goes. He's got another one under his car as well. It finally pops free, but Jamie Byrne lost a lot of time right there. Got a little bit wide, and unfortunately murdered a few cones. And
let's take a look, see what happened here.
I feel like he's just overshot the brakings, the exit just a little bit. Yeah, got onto the grass. And, unfortunately, we need to gray out the screen for that little bit of murder of those unfortunate cones right there.
Put a little blur on it. Winbow's climbed onto the back of Cal Young right here. Last time on Wimbo with a 136.54, and he's going to go to the inside. He's going to make that pass, but will Young come back?
No, he's a little bit slow around the outside. It's a right-hand turn, but he's got the inside line off the exit. Winbo, 3 laps, 3 lockers in a row. He's really got to adjust his brake bias to make that corner if he wants to stay in that position, because everybody is just stacking up behind him for that opportunity. Look at Burns looking up the inside. He's not going to let a few cones keep him down. He's going to make that move. But look at the exit. Holko, he's right beside him. Holko's looking for that inside line onto the brakes. They both go. Burns around the outside and keeps. Oh! Holko locks up the brakes. Burn went off the track again, and it looks like Burn. Oh, tell me Burns didn't get into the cones again, because he's falling down the straight once more as Bomani jumps up into 10th. And here's that.
Oh, Holko's in trouble again.
Oh, this is replay.
Oh, that's the replay. I'm sorry. Turned my eyes for 1 second to look at our SDK timing, and Dennis Branch is quick on the trigger. So,
yeah, Dennis, one of the quickest replays producers out there, always knows when to catch us off guard. I am Keeman's had an issue. He's off. He's falling down the field. There is.
Yeah, Keenan's
Keeman.
falling.
It looks like he might have had an issue in the S's, gone a little bit wide. Here is that replay into the S's. And is it just going to be back end slipping out right here? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, locked up the brakes. Kept it on the black stuff right there, but very, well, too much mustard, as I would say. As the field heads into that final chicane. Chaos happening back here in the final sector right now. La Fuente defending from Crespo into that final chicane. And that final chicane is so tricky. It's a double left-hander, then a flick right-hander onto the front straightaway. And it's just an absolute... it's really fun in a final lap shootout.
Oh! Is into the gravel. He looks like he got hit from behind.
Oh, he got absolutely smacked right there. Rakan has had an issue as well. I am not sure who hit him, but Ollie Kwaka, big hit into the back of that car, and that sent him off into the Katie litter.
Yeah, he got. Let's take a look here.
Who is that car behind him? Trying to see the number. Is that the 5 of Keeman? Oh, that was also some very bad netcode.
Yeah. Tough one for Kawaka.
Daniel Gallus has had another issue. And, oh, that's him off the wall.
I'd like to see what happened there.
The engine cover's off of that car, too, so he's got a lot of damage. He's going to be needing to head into the pit lane.
Here's look at Gallus here. The Apex Racing livery. And he just got driven to him from behind right there.
Oh. It's so unfortunate right there for Daniel Gallus, because he's always in these races, and you know, sometimes just get dealt the wrong hand. And, you know, Motegi is a very tricky track to follow other cars sometimes and really nail down that braking point, because the markers are so far away, because there is miles of runoff, is what we call it.
There's a lot of kitty litter on this track.
There's a lot of kitty litter. It's not really runoff, but the braking markers are really far away. You do have the braking markers on the ground, but you know, if you're side by side with somebody else or behind them, they're really hard to see, especially in that second sector. Hillard's off in the kitty litter, heading out of the infield and onto the outfield. Is it really the infield? Anyways,
play here of Hillard.
I think this might be a bump from behind. Yep.
He got turned.
What is with people and hitting each other today? This is the most chaos I've seen.
You mentioned the braking markers, Austin, which, you know, I think there's potentially some drivers, are having a tough time seeing those markers, getting their braking points down. We saw a lot of lockups in the first few laps, so I think that's coming into play for sure here. It seems.
New fast lap for Eddie Samborski, 1.5 seconds behind JC Pinsker, and James has been putting down very consistent laps. Samborski has found a groove right there, but yeah, the braking markers have been kind of a problem. As you see, they're on the side of the track right there. If we ride on board, this is Crespo behind the 13. La Fuente looking up the inside, and contact off the exit. Trying to fit 2 cars into a 1-car lane off the exit right there. He had the space down to the inside, and he just tried to squeeze that space out of there on that overtaking opportunity, and unfortunately didn't go his way. Very tricky track. Motegi's not really raced it that often here on iRacing.
No, it's not. It's not a, it's a very, you don't see a lot of series in real life there as well, outside of the Asian area. Heading over to Twin Ring Motegi as we watch Vasilev. He is pounding Mark Ponick right here. Last time around, Vasilev with a 136.55 and Ponick with a 136.56. So these guys are pretty dead even.
Yeah, I can see the amount of tire wear already in that final corner right there. All the rubber already laid down from lockups and people really sending it in. As you can see, that is pretty much the biggest concern, is keeping these tires alive. And Winbo currently up there in 7th. I think he's been locking up most of this race. And his tires at the end of this race, if he somehow stays to the top 10 and continues to lock it up right there, I will eat a hat or something.
We'll hold you to it. And Winbo's actually done a great job. He's up 8 spots from where he started.
Waka's off.
Waka's off track there. Take a look.
This is just too much pace heading into the final corner. You see that overcorrection catch right there? Car just snapped out on him, and does he have rear wing damage?
He has to, even a little bit at that point.
Mark Van der Leen under pressure from Ben Holko. Ben, look down the inside. Not going to have that opportunity heading into the S's right now.
Ben had some early issues, so he's looking to climb back up.
Little switchback opportunity by Pinero. Pinero had a great run, and he's locked onto that gearbox, looking down to the inside using DRS to get as much top speed. Going way down the inside at the bottom of the hill onto the brakes. A beautiful pass right there by Ramon, up 13 spots from where they started. Great race. Currently the biggest mover so far. Definitely showing that qualifying session was not his best. As down the inside, it's a look by the 23 of Javier Bomani on James Byrne. James staying onto the outside, going to have the higher top speed off the exit. Now he's got the inside line and putting a lot of pressure coming across the nose right before the braking zone, and he overshoots it and goes over more cones.
He tricked himself right there. He knew that Bonatti was going to try something, and he outsmarted himself right there and had more incident with the cones. He's going to dread these cones.
That crossover that he did really, he got himself a little bit offline and missed that braking zone just by that much, and he overshot it. And, if you're a Bomani, you're probably just like smirking right now. It's like, okay, I'll take that. And if you're the marshal who has to get those cones, you're probably cursing him right now.
Burns
so if you're looking at the timing tower,
sleep.
Though if you're looking at the timing tower, Burn are in 10th and 11th, and at least it's not Burns Burn, because if you're watching Phillip Island, there was an entire 3-lap thing where I just kept saying the word burn over and over again, and you just had to guess with it.
And you have a Jamie and a James too.
Yeah, the initials don't work either.
So you look at James Byrne right there in the 11th spot.
Now he's behind Jamie Byrne. And James Byrne
Pinero's looking for a move.
Pinero looking up for an inside line on James. James, he's held that outside line before. Very squeezed off the exit right there. And now James, he's got that better line up onto the inside. He can resend that opportunity on Pinero. Pinero getting forced all the way out to the curbs. And James, off the exit, gets that overtake again. But look at the exit now by Ramon. Ramon down to the inside once more. And it's a big send. And James took on the outside. Big crossover right there. And it's going to be Ramon Pinero up 14 spots now, sitting in 11th. And whoop, that's defending right there, heading into the S's. I thought he went off track right there, but no, it's just sudden jump over to the left to defend from James. And James, he just needs to be a little bit cautious right here. Follow Ramon, keep those tires in check, and see if he can catch up to Jamie in 10th and try to capitalize right there.
Yeah, as you said earlier, Pinero is flying for sure. He's up 14 spots from where he started, so what a great job for him.
Yeah, what a fantastic start right there. I believe he crashed in qualifying. He did one lap, and I believe he invalidated that one. New fast lap by Eddie Samborski right there. 0.3 faster than James Pinsker, but he's still in that 1.5 second gap. And this is a Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton-esque fight right now. Look at the gap from first to second. 1.4. Now look at the gap to third. 13 seconds.
Yeah, I would agree. It's very Max and Lewis right here with these two guys are clearly the class of the field. And we all know all these drivers are fantastic drivers, you know. Looking at the iRatings here, you know, these are the best. These are some of the best drivers on the platform. So,
and in this car right now, those two, Pinsker and Samborski, are the two. If there was a driver ranking for best drivers, sure, James Pinsker. He's been Dallar World Championship driver. He's raced in the VCO Cup of Nations. Eddie Samborski, community leader for the 3.5. A lot more unheard of, but you know, if there was a driver ranking, they would be 1 and 2 right there. And you know, to each their own. They each have their own advantages and disadvantages. Though James A. Pinsker, he was racing on a single monitor now. He's got a ultra wide. I think he's got a much wider monitor now with a higher refresh rate and maybe a little bit wider now. And I did say if I see you outside of 10K I rating or something, you're putting it to a big disadvantage because, you know, I'm just expecting a giant advantage. And if you see his setup, it's a very meme-worthy setup, but it literally was his brakes are being held down by like a bunch of weights, and the monitor that he was on was like
sometimes those guys are some of the best drivers.
Yeah, they're driving to the advantage of the setup. You know, if you improve the setup, you're gonna big incident. Ben Hokyo and Radcon are off. That's Mark Van Dalen is off as well. And well, the gravel trap out there looks like it was a bit of a playpen for a few of these drivers.
Take a look here.
Watch
Van Dalen.
That is Hokyo ahead of him. There's a car off right there, and he almost goes off and hits them. Oh my gosh.
It's like he almost got sucked into that.
Well, sometimes when you see a yellow, you back off just a little bit and catch yourself off, maybe get onto the brakes while turning left, and that just caught the car out into a little bit of a oversteer tank slapper. And you know, that final chicane, very tricky, and I know that a few sports cars can really get a bad tank slapper right there. And you know, it's 2 left-handers and then a flick right. Sometimes the car just wants to stay going left.
You have the battle of the burn right here. Jamie and James.
Feel the burn. They're going to hate me for that one.
I know our producer Dennis is a fellow motorcycle fan, so he might remember that there was an AMA Superbike rider back in the 90s, Jamie James. So that's all I can think. That just came into my mind right all of a sudden.
Jamie James. Who's I don't know where he's from.
It's from the south, I feel like.
I feel like he's Texan.
Some southern. As we look at Vasilev, currently running in the 6th spot. Running really strong, up 1 spot from where he started, with Emil Wimbo right behind him. Wimbo's really kind of held on to his tires, Austin.
Yeah, he's surprisingly held on to those tires. I think he's found the groove into that final braking zone. And all that stuff. Oh. Sorry, I'm looking at I'm trying to find out Jimmy Jane.
Wimbo's under the gravel.
And there goes the tires.
It was like almost an accordion effect where it looked like the guys in front of him had slowed down, and he realized that they were closer than he expected, and he just put it into the gravel right there. So we look at Ponick, currently running in 5th. Right where he started, and Vasilev, who's right behind him in the 6th spot. Ponick last time around with a 1:36.48, and Vasilev with a 1:36.46. So these guys are really, really close. And looks like Cornu, he's going to lose a spot to Ben Holka, who's back on the trail after a rough start to the race.
Back to Winbo. Currently sitting in 9th, and look who's behind him, Pinero. Pinero looking for his 16th overtake today. What a drive that Ramon has had today. It's been an absolute fantastic drive so far, and he's looking to capitalize on it even more. Every car in front of him just seems to just be a little bit slower, and he's just been easily making these overtakes because every lap it seems like he's gotten an overtake right now.
He's, right now he's definitely the driver of the day so far. The fact he's been able to pull it off so many overtakes and do it so cleanly, where we've seen so many guys get off course or hit into someone, it's a real credit to the driving Ramon's doing.
Yeah, Ramon. You see, getting a lot of speed. He's avoiding the apex right there to get some top speed, but also Winbo. Is he going to have that lockup issue once more heading into this corner? Gets onto the brakes. No lockup, so he's adjusted his... nope, there's some smoke. I just saw it. It's not as much smoke as we were used to seeing, but Winbo, after that spin, might be taking things a little bit more cautious. Because Pinero, he's definitely gained some ground right there. He's not going to have an opportunity to send one down to the inside, but you can see the gap that Pinero has pulled off on the 2 burns behind him.
Yeah, he's really taken off from them, and he has Winbo in his sights right here. And he's probably going to pass. I was going to say, he's going to go for it.
Here it goes. I didn't think that he was going to go on. He gets into the grass with a switchback by Winbo. Able to capitalize off that. Just a little bit too much of a send by Pinero. Got into the grass, and Winbo able to, well, he left the door open down the inside. Got the switchback opportunity and able to get back ahead of Pinero. Pinero's probably shaking his head. Winbo's probably nodding his head right there. And, both of us are grinning ear to ear because that was fantastic.
Yeah, great racing right there by both those guys, gutsy call by Pinero to make the move, and then Winbo to see the opening and take it back. And, now Ramon's back to square one on getting past Emil Winbo.
Looking down the inside. Here it comes once again into the hairpin. Winbo goes wide off the exit. Almost contact right there. But Pinero and Winbo on the gearbox of each other, defending down to the inside, going all the way down to the inside. He's getting pushed off into the grass. Dirty defending right there by Winbo. Pushing the car all the way into the grass. Big lockup off onto the entry of the corner. And oh my gosh, Jamie Byrne is opening up the Burns Lawn Mowing Company. Call 1-800 Jamie Byrne. for your nearest lawn mowing consulting right there. Winbow
Here
and
comes
Pinero side by side. Pinero is alongside of him, and these two have been going at it for the past couple of quarters. But Pinero holding that inside line, able to hold it. And you can see, the fake and the weave right there. Pinero definitely not happy. Winbow really aggressive drive, almost gets pushed off into the grass like he did, but he locks up again, and Pinero waves goodbye on that one. Great racing, a little bit too hard fought right there. Winbow with that defending onto the grass. I think might have just pushed him over the edge right now, but I can tell you, these two have got a little bit of boiling blood with each other.
Yeah, if I'm Ramon Pinero, I'm a little bit irritated with Emil Winbow.
I would have been peeved about that. I would have been peeved.
I would have, it's one. Oh, someone's off course in the background.
That's Hillard. Hillard had gone off at the exit of turn 3 and 4.
And if I'm Pinero right now, I'm going to try to just keep going and get away from Emil Winbow.
Head straight and just forget about him and just keep on going. Emil Winbow, the only B licensed driver on the track. Everybody here is A licensed, and 3.5 is a B licensed series. The A license, we finally have a step above this, as I usually call this the top step of open wheel racing in iRacing, even though we had the McLaren at the time. Oh, Pinero, that's not what you wanted right there. Off the exit, he gets back behind Winbow. Winbow's now ahead of him because Pinero overshot the final corner, and look who's behind him. He got James burned there as well, but Winbow back in a 9th place. Pinero is probably just face palmed right there in his sim rig.
How can I get away from this guy?
He doesn't want to be behind him. He doesn't want to be beside him at all. He just wants to be ahead of him, and this is how he got there. Big lockup into the final corner. You can see how much gap he actually pulled out the Winbow right there. Then, probably just too much mustard into this corner. Yes, it is. Got off into the grass. You can see Winbow almost gets into contact with him. Great heads-up driving to avoid contact with each other, but oh my gosh. This is a feud building up between them, and we got 4 laps of it, action-packed, and this is going to be, it's a big lock-up, and they make contact! Burns make contact as well, and the benefactor in all of this was 20 of Eric Wyszomowski and Frank Benedict, and Winbow with the spin ahead of Pinero. Pinero, unfortunately, nowhere to go as
Jamie
Winbow.
Byrne's going to try to find a way around him. He's holding up Jamie Byrne right now.
He's got no front wing. Byrne needs to go down the inside. Yeah, you don't want to defend that right there. Here's what happened. We got Winbow ahead of Pinero, and Pinero just looking down the inside to stay in his own course, and then big send by both of them. It was too much on the brakes. Pinero really overshot that corner. Winbow locked it up, spun right there, and they're going to make contact no matter what. And he's somehow still driving without a front. Oh, there's
and Winbow's right behind.
Dennis,
but also,
can we stay on that fight? I'm expecting a bloody murder very soon.
We're expecting a super late model sort of retaliation.
He's let him by.
But if we can, look at our top 2. Samborski has closed the gap immensely here.
Okay, good. He's not good. Okay.
Had
a little bit of a heart attack that I was going to have to send in an iRacing protest.
Samborski is getting right on his tail.
Yeah, this is a insane drive by both of our 2 leaders right now. 22 seconds with 4 laps remaining right now. Samborski half a second behind James A. Peaser. He was slowly putting in fastest laps of the race and just slowly gaining now, but he's really gained in this final few laps. Half a second behind him. 3 laps to go. It's time to go. 3 rounds here at the Twin Ring Motegi. Sometimes this might go into a boxing match very soon between these two.
Yeah, Samborski the last time around was just like a 10th quicker than Pinsker. So he's there. He is right there. And Borski just needs to stay there, tuck up, and look for the prime passing opportunity.
Heading into the S's. Oh my gosh, look how close Samborski is to James J. Pinsker. James just holding off Samborski just a little bit, but Eddie, he is found his groove right now. He's kept those tires alive, and James, oh, he is in the clutches of Samborski. And I can guarantee you both of them are going to be on DRS down this long straight.
Yeah, Samborski really turned it on the past few laps. He has really come alive.
Samborski not chasing that draft by James Pinsker, heading into the massive downhill right-hander. Both of them using all the track right there. Eddie definitely getting some cheers from the YouTube chat right now. A little bit of hesitation, gets off the track, just a little bit off the exit. That's going to be advantage James J. Pinsker. 2 laps to go.
Pinsker fired off that last corner really well. And that time around, he was a little bit faster than Samborski. Pinsker with a 135.17, Samborski with a 135.31. So
yeah,
after several...
Really hurt him.
Yeah, after several laps of Samborski definitely being a bit faster, Pinsker came back right there, especially that final corner as well.
Eddie's got the advantage of the draft of James, but how much DRS has James used? Because Eddie, I can pretty much say he's used his DRS knowingly to catch back up to James. Sometimes he would use DRS to pull away from the car behind. So a little bit of strategy play right now, but definitely going to be using that DRS if you have it down that long straightaway. They're catching up to lap traffic ahead of them.
Oh, this is big right here.
Quokka. Yeah, it is Ollie Quokka ahead of him and heading down that long back straightaway. DRS being used by Eddie. And yeah, it's just being used by Eddie. I don't think James has DRS being available to him. He might have been. Oh, looks like he's overshot the corner. He's off into the grass right there. Dipped the wheel right there. And Eddie Samborski, he's got a great opportunity right now, but this final corner is not going to be. It's white flag in the air. Last lap, 1 lap to go now. James J. Pinsker and Eddie Samborski go across the start-finish line. And they are hunting each other, and Ollie Quokka pulling off a lot of dirty air, and it's probably upsetting James J. Pinsker's car right now. Eddie Samborski's been in that dirty air all the time. Look at the draft, maximizing the draft. James J. Pinsker on Ollie Quokka right now, putting him a lap down. And that's a good advantage to James Pinsker, getting a good top speed for him, and pulling just slightly away from Samborski. But Samborski, this is the part where Samborski has been much faster today, especially in these later stages of the race, the S turns.
Yeah, Pinsker fires off some of these corners so well, and then Samborski is just through some of this stuff. They're just so evenly matched right now, Austin.
James off that exit. The second part of the S is just a little bit faster, half a second, heading into the final sector. James J. Pinsker, Eddie Samborski. He's within 3/10 now. This is the last chance of the block of light. James J. Pinsker into the final hairpin, but he's going to have the exit now. Eddie Samborski takes the lead on the last lap for a mistake by James J. Pinsker. James locked onto the gearbox right now. Are we going to be looking down to the inside? Yes, it is a late send by James J. Pinsker. Doing a power send, but Samborski holds it around the outside. 3 more corners to go. 2 more corners to go. Pinsker looking onto the inside. Eddie holds him off right there. It's going to be a drag race right now. Samborski is off into the grass, and Pinsker switch back down to the inside, and it's going to be James J. Pinsker escaping with the victory. Wow. Mistakes by both of the drivers in the final sector. Look at this, Samborski really sending it into the final corner. Here's that big send by James right now. Massive send. Samborski held it around the outside and then into the final sector. We thought it was made by Samborski. He just had to hold him off, cut off the nose of James J. Pinsker. But oh, the overcorrection. He's got the bump right there. Got onto the grass, and it goes to James J. Pinsker, and with one of the most unique celebrations, the Spinneroonie.
James was so good out of that final corner several times during the race.
He got so lucky right there. Oh, the bump off the exit, Samborski really sent it in there. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think either of those drivers are upset about anything. They're having a great time.
Also how cleanly those two race right there. We've seen guys
That was
bumping and banging, and
that was
those
beautiful.
are these are two guys. They're the best in the business at what they do, and that was a prime example right there. That's one for the resume reel.
That's one for the resume reel, and that's one to show to my insurance company. I was like, yeah, I need coverage for my lungs. My God.
Fantastic.
Can we just watch these two race? Because that was awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to talking with them afterwards, just to to see what happened and get their thoughts on it.
Oh, of course. And well, here is we do have the race results ready, and it's time to breathe. I guess. Yeah, the race results are waiting for us. Yeah, here they go. James A. Pinsker and Eddie Samborski. Last lap, swapping over the lead and with a absolutely fantastic race. Pinsker takes the win, followed by Samborski. And then in a whole nother race going on, Theodore Burns takes third place, followed by Jason Sieg, Mark Pontic, Pat Vashlev, Cal Young, Javier Bamati, Eric Wazermeski, Frank Benedict, Jamie Bird, Emil Winbo, James Byrne, Ben Holko, Ludwig Rancon, Mark Van Dalen, Juana De Fuente, Philip Hiller, Daniel Gauss, and Ramon Pinero in 20th. Behind them is Ali Kwaka, Miguel Crespo, Dennis Cornu, I Am Kimin, and Yuki Shirakawa at the end of the 25-car grid. But, all eyes are on the... I need to get him in here. All eyes are... Oh, I've done it again. All eyes are on the man who finished doing a spinneroonie as a celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, James J. Pinsker. James, how are you feeling?
Oh my God, the adrenaline of this last lap is crazy. It's crazy, the whole race was crazy, but yeah.
Well, first, you and Eddie were on a completely another level today. 25 seconds ahead of third place. You two just seems like you were putting on a Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton performance where nobody was on either of your levels.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, it proves that when Ed puts his favorite track into the calendar, then it's us and Ed a long way ahead of the rest of the field. So, it's weird. You have two people who take this series, or two like top level people that take this series seriously, and one of them gets to make the calendar. I don't think it's... Yeah, it's but I mean, I'll race at whatever track they put us at, so I don't have a problem. And this move on the last corner, it was aggressive. It was maybe a step too far, and then maybe Netcode has taken it a bit further that it's tapped his tire. But I've seen from his steering, it looks like he's gone to swipe me out of the race on the run to the line after he's seen I've got ahead. So I have no sympathy to Ed, who was faster than me today, and Ed was running me down about a 10th per lap throughout the race and really had me sweating. And it's the first time in a while when I've been able to put my hands up. Ed was faster than me today, and I mean, if I was him, then I'd be looking for an excuse like, oh, there's electrostatic messing with my pedals, or my WCS license is making me quicker, or any other number of things that he's come up with, like, oh, I've got an account slowdown that 3 years ago they just iRacing decided they're going to give me less grip. That's one of my favorites. He's an interesting character, but today he was unlucky not to win. But my last season was about turning wins into not wins, and today I'm just happy to win the race. And I'll have fun watching this back. This is proper exciting, I'm sure.
James, have you been going to wrestling school promos, because that was beautiful. But yeah, the final lap, I want to talk to you about that final the final sector, the 180 where you locked up. What was going through your head when you locked up the wheels and you saw Eddie going by? What was the game plan right there?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't script that this track is challenging, and it's got elements like there's curbs that you can and can't brake on, and you have to be very careful with like modulating the brake. And the whole race I've not locked up once, and I've controlled the issue really well. And of course, this one moment where it's going to happen, obviously it's the worst moment leading on to that final straight of the race. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my brain just exploded at that point that I managed to do that.
Even your brain exploded. My lungs exploded.
Yeah, and then on the next straight, I was like, it was miraculous because it lined me up perfectly. Like I was right behind him to get in the slipstream, but he had the DRS, so it had to be a lunge. And these are the type of things where it's like it has to be aggressive, it has to be rude, but if I don't go for that, then I'm finishing second. Going for it gave me a chance of winning the race. So, it was a very I was maybe a bit over the limit with those couple of moves at the end of the race, but it's what you got to do to be able to fight for the win. And I was feeling through the whole race, I was feeling a bit sorry for you guys because me and Ed were sitting at like 1.5 seconds apart for the whole race, and I was like, damn, this should be like really exciting for those commentary guys, but no, it's just out the window where we'll battle. But I think I made up for that with that last lap. Got a bit of drama going on.
Yes. Before I let you go, anyone you want to thank?
I mean, I was a bit harsh on him in this interview, so thank Samborski on a good race. Thanks to ARTV for broadcasting, though they didn't do it the last 2 weeks, the lazy sods.
Not my choice.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go. Happy to win, and see you next week.
All right, congrats on the win, Eddie. We're going to throw it over to Jonathan, who is standing by. No, congrats on the win, James. Going to throw it over to Jonathan, who is standing by with Eddie. I'm going to go put my head in a blender because it's scrambled already.
Eddie Samborski, take us through that last lap.
Honestly, I mean, I don't want to sound like a whiner, but there were some pretty ambitious moves, and I felt like I was just protecting myself from getting a DNF, honestly. I mean, the dive into the bottom of the hill from way back from no man's land. I mean, the guy wasn't even alongside me. That, to me, it's to be expected, and I knew it was coming, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's like, do I just take the second place and let the guy bully me, basically, or do I crash out and take 10th? I mean, anyways, I was happy when he messed up because I thought I had the race. It should have been mine. I mean, honestly, I caught the guy all race long. I put myself in a bad position and made up the time. So I guess, I guess I'm happy to get second, but to me, that should have been a win.
Yeah, you talk about, catching up, for a majority of the race, you were, second and a half, a second or so behind. Then the last few laps you caught up. Were you holding back, saving your stuff? What caused you to really catch up to him in the last few laps?
I was struggling. Ted was actually had an unfortunate incident in the race before this, and he was basically coaching me because he had nothing else to do except watch cars go around. So he was letting me know, like live, what I was doing wrong. So I just started halfway through the race. I started repeating the same mistakes. So you can see the marked improvement in lap times when I just calmed down. And I call it not trying to be a hero. You just do what you know is going to work instead of trying to find every half a tenth or any of this or any of that. And it started to work. James had a few missteps in a couple of the corners that I got right, and it let me right back into the draft range. And I just was waiting. And when he went wide of the hairpin, I mean, that's all you need. I mean, he gave me the entire racing line, and I was like, okay, see ya.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, is anyone that you'd like to thank?
Absolutely. Thank teammates, DFR, for helping everyone out during the week. I mean, Ted helped my pace immensely. I was a way better driver in this one than the last one. Thank the community for donating, helping the effort, and everyone for racing. Thank Apex for doing the broadcast, and I think we'll leave it there.
All right, that was your second place runner-up, Eddie Samborski.
Yeah, Samborski did an amazing race, finishing in second. There was a driver in third, and there was a secondary race, air quotes, going on right there. So let's drive in. Let's bring in Theodore Burns, who finished in third, but I would say won the other race going on track because it was 22 seconds behind of our two leaders, and he does deserve a shout out. Theodore, how are you feeling after that race, and congrats on third place?
Yeah, it's satisfying to be best of the rest, I guess. I mean, hats off to Ed and James for finding something out and being able to run that pace. But happy to bring home the third place and win the Formula 1.5 championship.
Yeah, it was absolutely looking great for you. You had an amazing start on Jason right there, and then it was pretty much smooth sailing behind you. You did have a 1 second gap behind. Were there any scary points going on in the race for you?
This is a tricky track at Motegi, just trying to be consistent, making sure you keep hitting all your marks. It's really easy to drop a wheel off or lose 3/10 just like that. So it was definitely a tough race to manage with the track conditions changing throughout. So it definitely wasn't smooth sailing, but it was nice knowing I had a teammate behind me that I could kind of trust, and I was happy that the two of us were kind of able to build a little bit of a gap behind the rest of the field and bring home the DFR 234.
Yeah, it was a great result by the DFR team. Next week we head to Suzuka. Before I let you go to get ready to do that little bullet train ride over to Suzuka, that F1 circuit, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd love to thank the Downforce Racing team. Really solid result today, putting 4 cars into the broadcast and putting 3 of them in the top 5. So thanks to all the guys there for the setups and help every week. Thanks to you guys at Apex, putting on a great broadcast. Love watching it back every week.
You're certainly going to love this one as well. Congrats on a great race, Theodore, and congrats on the podium. Jonathan, what a great race we had. Any final words?
Unbelievable. It was so nice to come back to the 3.5 series and get a great race. We saw battles up and down the timing tower, and we had one of the best final laps I've seen in quite a while.
It certainly was a great final lap, and James told me that in a DM that his adrenaline was pumping, that he would just went into full adrenaline talking mode. And he's like, I might have been a little bit too harsh, but no, there's no bad blood between these two. But what a great race. And I certainly cannot wait for another fantastic race heading into Suzuka next week. Who's it going to be? James Pasker, Eddie Samborski, or it's Suzuka? We might see a third name pop up there onto the podium. We're going to have to find out. Thank you all for joining us here on Apex Racing TV for another wonderful broadcast of the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here at Twin Ring Motegi. I've been joined by Jonathan Grabowski with Dennis Branch in the production booth, and I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.